Midsommar is now in theaters, and it is the latest A24 horror film. It's also a breakup film, romance, a cautionary tale, and the newest Aster film, who directed, for those who don't know, Hereditary, which was my personal favorite movie of 2018. So I was really hyped up for Midsommar, it being an A24 film done by the same director of Hereditary. And not only that, I'm always very interested in terms of paganism, cultural things that might be a little bit different to Americans. So I was down for this movie. The trailers also made it look really appealing. And on top of that, I am a big fan of the cast. I think Florence Pugh was really good in Fighting for My Family. And given that she was in a completely different role with this, I was excited to see this. Actually, this was my most anticipated movie of the summer. So I was hyped up. That's why I saw this day one over Spider-Man, Far From Home. Sorry, I'll be seeing it, don't worry. But, Midsommar, most anticipated movie of the summer. So, but the question is, does it live up to my expectations? You betcha it did. This was a fantastic movie. I absolutely loved every second of this movie. This is a movie that's just dripping with things to break down, things to analyze and talk about long after the film's over. This is a movie you want to take people to see with, because you'll be talking about long after the credits have rolled. The acting, first of all, I just want to say is top-notch. Florence Pugh especially is just incredible. Easily Oscar-worthy, in my opinion. Then again, Toni Collette was last year for Hereditary, and, she didn't get recognized. So she was great. I thought also Will Poulter was really good. I thought he was a good comedic relief. I think it was really effective given the fact that there's a lot of uneasy things that are going on in this film. Like, as a moviegoer that doesn't really see that much, I can see many people just kind of balking at the idea of this film. Or even the fact that this is, it's branded as a horror film. And I can see some things being looked at as such. But again, this is more of a breakup movie. Like, this is a movie that goes into the analysis of romance and relationships and what it means, and like the bare bones of personality types. Now, sometimes, it's difficult to work with different personality types. And I really liked that. I also think that the first 15 minutes really grabbed me. It really was intriguing. I liked the backstory of the character in Florence Pugh. I thought that was incredibly well handled with Danny. The cinematography is out of this world. Like, my goodness, I was blown away by a lot of the shots. Love the shot of right in the festival, as the camera just kind of like literally just pans down onto the ground, and it literally was like showing that the characters almost, their lives are about to get upside down. That's not a spoiler, because you kind of understand that based on the trailer, because they show that. I really dug that. I also loved some certain editing techniques that they used. I think it was really effective, particularly when a character goes to throw up in a bathroom, and next thing you know, they're throwing up in a bathroom somewhere else. And it's like, and it takes a little bit to realize that. It's like, my goodness. So the cinematography is outlandishly incredible. The editing is off the charts. And I think it's a perfectly paced movie. Now, here's the thing. I can understand some people might be dulled by this film, because the second act does something that I think was very experimental. Like, I think this film in itself is experimental. Like, sure, it's like The Witch meets Hereditary meets the new Suspiria, mixed in with the Seventh Seal. So it's dealing with a lot of stuff that it's been done before, but with the directing of Ari Aster, I think it's very interesting. It's engulfing. I was mesmerized every minute. But at the same time, that second act is very experimental. It's really building the society and you getting to understand why they're doing the things that they do, and why they look at certain things not as strange the way we as individuals in America would, but just as things that they have to do, versus things that they kind of call out. In fact, the boyfriend of Florence Pugh's character, he literally says like certain things. I'm not going to spoil them, but he literally says certain things like, well, they would probably think that this is strange in America, but, we think that's strange. And it just was really interesting to show the different cultures, and how you can go into one culture and you'll think something's completely weird and strange because we as a society don't. And it just really does go to show that, differences in people, it can sometimes divide people, but it shouldn't. And I liked that message. Also, the messages aren't just great. It's also a film that's very well scored. I think it does a great job of letting the directing really breathe with not having a score in certain scenes, but then when it's necessary, really building on the score. Also, props goes to the practical effects, at least I'm pretty sure, because the grisly imagery, I think they did a great job of showcasing it, and it looks like it was done practically. I don't know. Maybe I'll see behind the scenes. And I also liked the showcasing nudity. Like they did a balance of female and male nudity, and they didn't do it in a overly sexual way. It was just an artful way. I liked it. I like it when a film just kind of is able to showcase and say, "Yeah, this is how it is," you know. And I loved that. This film, again, it's not for the average moviegoer. It really isn't. I can see if you take 10 average moviegoers to see this, 9 out of 10 will probably hate it. But if you get to see this movie with that one moviegoer that is able to appreciate art and just what it's able to say, see it with them, because this is definitely a great movie. I think it's a movie that some people might not love it, some people might not even like it, might call it overrated and whatnot. But this is a film that it's one that after you're done watching it, no matter what, whether you hate it or love it, you'll be talking about it afterwards. And I love it. Those are my favorite type of movies that you watch it, you're able to process it, whether you liked it or not, talk about it, dissect it, and that to me is what makes movies great. You don't always have to agree on stuff, but at the same time, it does help if you're able to talk about things and dissect it, and it's great. Midsommar for me personally, you know what? Screw it. I'm giving it a 5 out of 5 star rating, which for those like a hot sauce rating, it's the good old ghost pepper rating. Yeah, it's a fantastic movie. Originally I was going to go with 4.75 because again, the pacing at first was kind of like iffy for me, but then I was thinking about it after the movie and I was talking about it with my friends and I was like, I can accept that. I can accept that, and I'm sure it will get better upon rewatching, similar to Suspiria last year. So, but enough about that, guys. Midsommar. Let me know your thoughts. Did you like it? Did you not? I really am curious to hear your thoughts. And you know, I know I was kind of all over the place with this movie, but I just wanted to cover all the boards because I think on all fronts this movie really, really worked. I think it's definitely a movie that if you're open-minded and you know, are able to appreciate things that are different, give this a shot because this movie does not hold back, and I loved it for that. Guys, again, Midsommar, my thoughts, you heard it here first. Let me know yours in the comment section below, and as always, don't forget the subscription, notification bell, and I'll